Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. Well, sometimes eventually. Take a little while to do some of the Fulhams and the Burnleys, but I get there eventually. Give me a week or so. But right now we're doing Sheffield United against Liverpool. Sheffield United, honestly, I think it was a bad time to play them because they're in that sort of transition, where I think the manager's just gone and there's all that turmoil going on, and it's one of those places you just don't want to go. And why I'm saying that is because it's really, really cold in Sheffield. And when it's cold in Sheffield, it's extremely cold. And that's what it was, tonight. But that isn't the other reason. It's like when you've had 8, I think Newcastle put 8 past them or something like that. Somebody put they've had a lot of goals conceded against them this season. You start to hit a point, especially in the Christmas period, where the games can become faster and faster and faster, where you start to get a little bit of momentum of defending. And there was a bit of that in this game, but also I just don't think Liverpool were good enough to score more goals than they did. And I would show you the corner coming in, but Trent Alexander-Arnold over here, and why I was talking for past a minute is to get out of the way, is because you can see his bum. It's kind of interesting that the Premier League, that's going to be a thing. There's going to be memes about that. But I don't think this was a goal. It should have been called back for VAR. Right now, we can see Virgil van Dijk, the most overrated centre-back in the Premier League. He's actually playing better this season. I'm going to have to might not be able to say that if he keeps playing the way he's playing by the end of sort of January, maybe sort of mid-February, because he's actually playing okay at the moment. But when he makes a mistake, I'll be right back to it. But there's a player on the deck that Virgil throws over, and then what he does is he runs up and he scores a little volley. I'm going to show you from the other angle of how easy this goal was because there's a player on the deck. Now, again, I think something was up with VAR because it was on Amazon, because there was hardly any VAR at all. Like the one I saw in the Man United was never a penalty when he stood on his foot and he cried like a baby, compared to some of the other things that happened in the penalty boxes in all the other games. You're just like, well, if that's a penalty, there's like 9 other penalties that should have been given, tonight that were not. So something was clearly amiss with the VAR. Maybe what was most likely the truth is probably VAR was only working in that one game over everybody else. Because when I show you this is blatantly a foul. So we're going to look at this cluster of players here, and I think there's another angle that might show a little bit better, if I remember rightly. But here we go. We're just going to watch this cluster of players right here. Doof. You see him? He trips him over with his leg. Do you see that? Trips him over his leg, and then he's completely unmarked because he's fouled the person marking him. You can't give this as a goal if VAR is working. VAR would look at it and go, well, clearly you've tripped over the mate that's marking you, so you've got a free tap-in, and it is a free tap-in. Watch as it comes across. Oh, God, I have to pause it because I am in YouTube jail, and I can't let the clips run for more than a couple of seconds because, they yell at me. So we have to pause it for a second. But you can see, look, there he is on the floor. You can see how much space he's got. Oh, by the way, this is the other thing I'm talking about. Is what's going on here? Genuinely, there's 2 players hugging another player here in some sort of, trap. There's a mad fight going on over here. So maybe this is what VAR didn't look at it and go, well, there's a fight over here that we might give a penalty for. There's 2 guys hugging one guy here in the corner that aren't, I don't know what they're doing here in some bear hat. I don't know what that is. But he gets his little tap in. And there we go. Yeah, so that's maybe why they haven't given it, because there's so much other nonsense going on in the box. Let's see if we can change the other angle. This is the angle that I was looking for. Now, okay, we can see all sorts of stuff. There's a guy going in ahead. I don't know what that position is right there, but that's a bit dodgy. Yeah, Luis Diaz, you might want to get your head up, mate. You might want to. But we're focusing on this here, this blatant trip. Do we see that? That blatant trip there. That's a blatant trip. And of course he scores, because look how much of the net box he's got. And his player's on the floor down there. Yeah, I don't know how they didn't call that one, but Salavi. Let's get on to the last goal. Okay, so I've got a bit of bias against players like this. Captain Chaos, Darwin Núñez, who's awful at finishing the ball into the net box, but can score a worldie from his own penalty box somehow with an overhead bicycle kick. He scores great goals and misses all the simple ones. I like players like this because they know deep down that they're not that good, so they do an extra bit of effort. You know it when you know it. You've got probably played with him. He goes, oh yeah, he keeps missing chances. Yeah, because he's not really that good, but he keeps getting there. And if he was any good, he would finish all those chances. We know that. But he keeps getting there because he's got a heart of gold and he keeps trying. And this is what happens right here when we watch this. Here he is running down the wing with nobody in front of him. What could possibly go wrong? Well, he's not very good. Many things can go wrong. So as he starts running, nothing can go wrong. This is what goes wrong. His touch is going to See, this player is too far away from him. This next touch brings this player into play. And because he doesn't power on past him or try to make a decision, powering on past and getting the ball over here, okay, he loses the ball. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this touch. Do you see how he brings it towards that player? Now the player can make a tackle and he can go and tackle and win the ball back. Now, this is why I like him. I hate him for that, but this is why I like players like this. There's certain players that, you know, it's like Joey Barton. You either love him or you hate him. Loved him because he was just an idiot. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. There's always chaos around him. That's why I like this guy. And this is the chaos he's about to create. So he's lost the ball, right? Let's watch him lose the ball. Boom, off it goes. Now, he's not given up on it. And this is why he's a fantastic football player. And you want him in your team every time. By the way, this body language here is fantastic. See, he knows, because he goes, if I was where Darwin Núñez was, I would have whipped that ball in because I'm better than him. He knows. Look, that's how he's acted. Everybody knows. But this is what he does. He goes back and he keeps fighting. The guy beats him. But it goes to a VAR decision because it doesn't. But they try to make it go to it for this challenge. And this isn't a bad challenge. It just looks it because he does with both feet off the ground. He actually makes a really, really good tackle. And the other guy makes a meal of it. Here we go. Dosh. Good tackle. Foot on the ball. The guy falls over him. So his foot goes on the ball and the other guy falls over him. Yeah, not a foul. But he gets back up after losing the ball. And then everyone's screaming and yelling because there's somebody on the floor and it's not a foul. Nowhere near. His foot was on the ball. He turned and the other guy fell over him. Yeah. That's what happened. But then Núñez carries on running, Bosch, and he's looking for a teammate. Thankfully, moments ago, I've moved on just a little bit because of YouTube jail. Thankfully, all the Liverpool team were running up with him a minute ago because they actually thought he might be able to cross the ball, but he didn't. But he's doing it this time. So now that guy that's completely and utterly unmarked from a minute ago is still completely and utterly unmarked. And this is the other problem with an undisciplined team, okay? If this is my team and that player's gone down and this guy's crying for a free kick, oh my God. No, you have a look around and you make sure we don't make a second mistake. We make sure that this doesn't become a goal. We don't care that guy goes down. We'll argue about that when the ball's out of play. Well, as soon as that ball's out of play, we'll let him know our decision about that. But so this doesn't happen. A man on the back post, completely and utterly unmarked, and he just gets to kick it into the net box. Yeah. Well done, little Núñez. He's still going to miss 15 goals on the weekend, but Captain Chaos makes me laugh. I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.